a reflection, a story that wants to be shared, a voice out of a deep place that wants to be heard. Maybe a kind of Emmaus story, because it is about two people and the holy all showing up for each other on an evening long ago, on a journey of sorts. I was working at St. James's Church, your sister church down that way. Each week, a small group of us would meet to get our assignment for the week ahead for visiting folks. Maybe folks homebound, maybe in the hospital, maybe someone just needing a little time with someone who cared. Among the names that popped up was Charlotte. "What's wrong?" I asked. Anita, our parish administrator, reported St. Mary's Hospital called this morning. Left word Charlotte came to the emergency room last night, just showed up. She's been admitted. They called because Charlotte listed here the church as her home address. My brain did this little kind of somersault at the thought Charlotte had named us, the church, as her home address. She was someone we considered homeless. Apparently, Charlotte did not. Charlotte came and went, dependent on the season and the weather. She camped out in one of our parish hall doorways, the doorway where we'd go in and out for gatherings or Wednesday night suppers. On cold nights, she pressed tight against the wall to the side of the double doors to that parish house gathering room. She was a quiet sort, not bothering anyone, except to fuss about the exterior light turned on for our Wednesday night dinners. Dinners that brought folks in and out through what Charlotte considered her doorway, complaining the light disturbed her rest. I'd gotten to know Charlotte on some of those Wednesday evenings, trying to coax her inside to share supper with us, her frowning, shaking her head, no. But she did come in on a few nights, just far enough to wait on the hallway bench. Tense, suspicious, she perched there while I left to get a plate full of whatever the dinner team for that evening had cooked. Then I'd bring it back to her. I wanted to sit with her, but she said, "No, go." She ate quickly, left her empty plate on the bench for me to retrieve. No one argued when I said I wanted to visit Charlotte. The next evening, I was late leaving the office in the afternoon. First on my list, an older man in a nursing home, one of my regulars, really a neat guy. Next, Charlotte at St. Mary's on my way home, or so I thought. By the time I left the nursing home, it was getting dark. I was tired, long day, hungry. I hadn't eaten lunch. You know how it goes. As I climbed into my car, I thought, oh, it's so late. I'll put off visiting Charlotte till tomorrow. It'll be all right tomorrow. I turned off 3 Chop and onto Grove, right up here at this corner. Maybe you turned on it tonight. Headed east to head home. 2 blocks later, the stoplight right down here at Libby and Grove suddenly flashed red so fast I had to slam on the brakes. I sat there, impatient to get home, waiting for the light to turn green. Suddenly, a voice inside of me demanded, "The hospital, go now." It was like what Julian of Norwich, an early Christian mystic in her writings about showings, describes God's voice as words forming in her understanding. The same way I was hearing then a voice saying to me, "Go now." The light turned green. My plan to go straight home, visit Charlotte the next day, completely interrupted. I found myself turning on to Libby as if some other hands, not mine, were on that steering wheel. At the next intersection, the only other light between me and St. Mary's turned green, as if just for me. A block later, St. Mary's, a parking space opening up close to the hospital entrance as if expecting just me. At the door to Charlotte's room, I knocked, then heard her call, "Come in." Sitting up in bed, dressed in a hospital gown, she broke into a big smile when she saw me. A cupcake on a paper plate rested on her lap. One little candle stuck in the middle, half melted, as if she'd waited a couple of moments before blowing out that flame. I wondered if she'd made a wish. I started to say, "Charlotte, I didn't know it was your birthday," but then that voice inside me again warned, "Hush, just hush." Charlotte appeared happy, calm, more relaxed than I'd ever seen her before. I settled comfortably into a chair beside her bed. She started talking, words just tumbling out. I never found the chance to ask her why she was there. After a while, the conversation took a turn, maybe a left turn. Charlotte began to talk about dying, about not being afraid, that she was okay with whatever might happen. I was stunned. Charlotte was like maybe 50. Charlotte, she didn't appear to be in any obvious physical distress. I wanted to interrupt. I really did. I wanted to interrupt and ask questions, find out what was going on. But again, that voice, deep inside, insistent, "Hush, hush, just listen." So what did I do? I just listened. Time passed. Charlotte began to wind down. I felt it was maybe getting time to leave. She seemed to be a little bit tired. So I offered a short prayer, something about giving thanks for her birthday, about healing, about hopes for this year ahead. Told her I'd be back in a couple of days to visit again. At that, she just smiled. As I left, she picked up the little cupcake, still waiting in her lap, pinched off a little piece, took it in her mouth, and then another, eating it very slowly. Heading home, I savored the visit, a strange peace flowing through me, thankful I had followed God's nudge to go that night, not a day later. Just think, I would have missed her birthday. A God nudge. That's what I call such moments, when God breaks in and pushes me to do His will, not mine. His agenda, not mine. And I listen much more carefully for them since that night, because I really, really know now how important they can be. The next morning, when I arrived at work a little late, past Anita's office on my way to mine, she called out, "Hey, Torrence, I just got a call from St. Mary's. Charlotte died last night." Time stopped. My heart dropped somewhere I don't even know where. I could barely breathe. The enormity of what had happened, or almost hadn't, crashed in. Suppose I hadn't gone to visit Charlotte that night. Suppose I'd waited till today, though tomorrow I thought would be better. I sank into a nearby chair, my head in my hands, hearing my own words inside. "Oh my God, oh my God." and deep, deep, deep sadness. Then a haunting, profound sense of having been present for some purpose I could never have anticipated in a moment at that stoplight at Libyan Grove, a red light, a voice, an inner bidding, a light turning green, my turning following that voice, and the stunning knowing that if I hadn't followed that voice, I would have missed something profound in that hospital room. The peace, the amazing peace, the light, the joy in Charlotte's face as Charlotte shared what was on her heart. Then it struck me. Maybe I was the one visited that evening, the one that possibly, probably needed to be visited just as much, if not more, than Charlotte. In hindsight, something else I learned that night, and I will never forget it. Something I am to remember always. That when God wants to be present for someone, God uses one of us, you or me, or both of us together, to do what? Simply this. Just show up. Just be there. Just listen. After all, as the poet Rumi reminds us, we are all just walking each other home.